Come out to the box.
Hello YouTube, cheers and welcome to The Basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
And The Basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, Basement family. Today, we wanted to pay respect, people. Respect to the best of the best. The likes of Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, the label owners, the shakers, the movers that keep things, moving and shaking in this thing we call hip hop. Let's keep this whole music industry afloat with money and influence. Yes, the hip hop moguls, people. All right? But before we get started, you guys have to check out our sponsors. The Fleetwood Spice Collection. 4th of July is coming, and all y'all grill masters want to show your stuff. I know it. For a spice-changing experience, give the Fleetwood Spice Collection a try. Big, bold flavors, unlike anything you've ever tried before, people. This is on my word. The Fleetwood Spice Collection. It's time to change your spice. Anyway, today's question: who is the best and most successful hip-hop mogul? I know you guys have a few in mind. We're gonna tell you. With that being said, yo, you ready? You're not ready. Lego.
Come out to the box, boy.
All right, let's get straight into it.
Let's do it.
Today's topic, we're gonna go over who's the best or who's the most successful hip-hop mogul today.
The best and the most successful. Can't leave out the success, boy.
Let's get straight to it. I won't even hold y'all up. For me, that's Jay-Z.
Ding, 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 ding.
Otherwise known as, Sean Carter, which is his real name. The businessman. Some know him as Hove.
Jigga what?
I think at this point it's probably most appropriate we just call him the GOAT. The best. Now, I could sit here and rock y'all to sleep on how he was the best artist, or he is the best artist ever to touch a mic in hip-hop, period. Because all his achievements say that where you place him at as far as, recording artists that's, like I said, that's touched the mic in hip-hop. But today's show is about his business savvy, his business moves, his ability to brand, his ability to innovate, his ability to do numbers. Sell is what we know him for doing pretty well over the last decade and a half to 2 decades. With that being said,
the mogul.
Let's go into Jay-Z the mogul. We must first go to Rockefeller Records, which is the record label that started between him, Jay-Z that is, Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burt. There's no secret. What makes Jay's story, I think, the most compelling and most intriguing is that he owned the label where he was the biggest artist. I'm not sure if that's ever been done, and if it had been done to the level that Jay-Z did it. This is why it always makes sense to include him as an artist when you speak of him as the mogul, because at the time, Rockefeller is one of the biggest labels in hip-hop, if not the biggest. Jay-Z was the biggest rapper, period, in rap, period, and obviously on his label. That's not where the story ends, however, because, you know, other notable acts or artists that he's had under his label, such as the Kanye Wests, the Cam'rons, and in more recent times, the J. Cole's and Rihanna's. It's easy to see that this guy, whatever he seems to touch, it's grand, it's out of here, it's classic, it's quality.
There's another one though that's just like that. You see, we're talking about the best and most successful hip-hop moguls. This means everything they touch turns to gold. We're talking about people who sell, and everything they touch sells. Everything they touch sounds good. Everything they touch looks good. But there's one who's just a little bit better. His name is Sean Puffy Combs, people. We're talking about P. Diddy. Dirty Money. Okay? Diddy. The man has, I mean, they're both the same age.
That's a fact.
They're both the same age. They're both, you know, outstanding musicians in their own right. P. Diddy is a producer. I mean, he started out as an internship at Uptown Records and helped develop people like Mary J. Blige, Jodeci. Took that as an intern, took those artists, signed one of the very first cooperation deals with a major label. They weren't under a major label. They actually had a cooperation deal with Arista. And I remember the first time I heard that was years ago. And when I heard it, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They showed the whole thing where he sat down with the owner of Arista and was like, I know I'm just an intern. I make good beats, but look at my mind. And off of that alone, he had a cooperation music corporation deal with Arista, and it was called Bad Boy. Bad Boy went on to sign people like the top 5 hip-hop artists of all time, B.I.G., The Notorious, Craig Mack, singles after singles after singles. More importantly, the genius decided to sign Hitman Studios, okay? And by signing them, he ended up having people sign to production deals like Usher, Aretha Franklin, TLC, Boyz II Men, Lil' Kim. Mace was actually signed to Bad Boy. The Lox was actually signed to Bad Boy. Mariah Carey, or Hitmen, MEN. I'm talking about Sean Puffy Combs. It goes beyond that. When we talk about the music side, that's one thing. You know the #1 hits. You know the Grammy Awards. The other side, Ciroc, buying Liz Claiborne, Inichi. My man designed the Mavericks jersey. We're talking about moguls, people. P. Diddy versus Jay-Z. Go ahead. What else you got, man? Because I'm not going to get to the biggest number yet.
Speaking of basketball jerseys.
Speaking of basketball jerseys.
Jay-Z, who was born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, bought shares in the New Jersey Nets. Small percentage too. Everybody knows that. Small percentage of the Nets. And what he did with that was he went to the other share owners of the Nets and suggested that they relocate to Brooklyn. Classic move. Not only does he bring the Nets from New Jersey to his hometown,
drink to that.
He puts a new stadium, a new arena in Brooklyn, which will naturally create jobs. He does that, and then I believe in the Barclays Center, I believe there's a 40-40 club inside the Barclays Center. And speaking of his 40-40 club that he owns, there's one in not only New York, there's one in Atlantic City, there's one in Chicago, and there's one in Vegas. And from my understanding, the one in Vegas, it was slow at first, and they closed it down. And I'm not sure what hotel in Las Vegas that the 4040 Club was in, but it was said that they had to reopen it due to popular demand. Period. There's one soon to be opening up in Japan and Singapore, if I'm not mistaken. These are just some of the acquisitions and business moves that the likes of Sean Carter, Jay-Z has made.
Well, I gotta give you that. You know, Puffy doesn't have clubs. He did have Jason's, couple restaurants. No clubs. But there's something that Diddy has that Mr. Sean does not have, that the other Sean does not have. This is movies, people. The acting and the production of songs in movies. The acting in movies. The first one to bring A Raisin in the Sun, okay? Took the Broadway play, made it for TV, was the star of it. Put Mrs. Huxtable in it. Y'all remember that? This is what Puffy does. Now, when you open up your 4040 Club, just make sure you put some Ciroc in there. Because it's the #1 selling vodka. It just came out, I believe it was with mango. Why not? Because they can.
You said something about liquor?
I'm just saying, it's Ciroc. It's the #1 selling and rated vodka.
If you said something about liquor, then I'll be forced to include the gold bottles, which are very popular.
Before we get to that,
nowadays.
Wait a minute now. Just remember, I haven't seen Sean Carter in the movies yet. That's one up. It's already one up for P. Diddy.
That's him as an actor. That's not him as a mogul.
That's part of his moves that he's making. He brought that production into TV. That was his idea.
With my mogul moves, not your acting.
He also produced music for Training Day. You heard of that movie? The one where your boy won an Oscar for? Yeah, that's Puffy. Go ahead.
Again, about the guy who's sold over 100 million records and has over 21 Grammys. We could sit here all day. The guy owns Tidal now. You said, what is Tidal? I wonder what is Tidal myself. It's a streaming company. And artists nowadays are streaming their music. So he has a leg up on in that industry alone. And again, is that
a leg up? Because I don't know if you've heard of Drink Champs. There's a podcast that is also streaming. I don't know if many of you have maybe heard of The Breakfast Club. We're talking about Revolt TV, people. Revolt TV, which started out as streaming, but then just got better. I'm taping Drink Champs right now on my television. You know why? Because he now has a TV station in line with his online streaming company. Another leg up. I'm saying it's back and forth with these two. Nobody can deny that Jay-Z is nice. One of the nicest of the moguls. The best out here except for P. Diddy. Revolt TV. Revolt TV. For whatever Tidal does, Revolt TV does it better. What else you got?
I don't know about Revolt TV does what this better. Like I said, there's only, I believe there's like one or maybe two other streaming companies, period. That
no, there's a lot of them. There's Amazon. That's
what they do.
iTunes.
So we covered the streaming companies. We covered the clubs. We've been. I was getting ready to get into the liquor, to the alcohol, which this guy has a partnership with Budweiser. While at the same time, again, these are moves. If they've been done before, cool. But I've never seen them done from the likes of someone like Jay-Z. And when I say from someone like Jay-Z, the likes of someone, I mean someone who's self-made, who never went. This may be the distinction between a Diddy and a Jay-Z.
Go ahead.
Diddy's going to college. He went to Howard University. I know the background of Diddy. Jay-Z went to no such thing. So when we say self-made, and I say the likes of someone like Jay-Z, this is what I'm talking about. Self-made. Getting back to it, he has a partnership with Budweiser, and while also owning, it may be full ownership, or he's in partner with someone else with the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades champagne.
He ended up buying the company.
Now, right. His latest bottle from Ace of Spades, he's charging at an $850 cost. So again, whatever he touches is quality. It's quality. It's quality. And like I said, I haven't seen someone to come from where he came from with it and take it to where he's going with it. Like, you want to talk dollars and cents with Jay-Z and Diddy, you may be talking, today.
Well, let's talk. Hey, let's talk.
If you look at Wikipedia or different sites, one may say 820, the other may say 810.
All of them say the same thing.
Puff Daddy, they don't all say the same
Puff
thing.
Daddy's at 820 million.
But
Jay-Z is at 810 million.
Jay-Z just weeks ago inked a deal with Live Nation.
This wasn't weeks ago, this is a month ago.
Weeks ago. Inked a deal for $200 million with Live Nation. So again, you want to talk dollars and cents, we can go there, but
listen, we're gonna wrap this up. The reason why when I say movies and you say, well, that's acting, it's wrong, because Revolt TV, if you don't know, has a film production branch. Began broadcasting in 2014. They have a film production branch. They produce films next to produce movies. That money hasn't even come in yet. So what we're talking about is tit for tat. They got Ace of Spades, you got Ciroc. You got J-Lo, you got Beyonce. You got the Barclays Center. Well, this dude has Sean John. This dude has everything is on equal footing. These guys are neck and neck. The one thing that makes a mogul when we're talking about business moves is this big number right here that I'm circling. It's called 820 million. And you say, well, self-made Jay-Z, I respect that. Just because you go to college, that means you're not self-made? I don't know about that. Because we're looking at somebody who started out as an intern for Uptown Records, which doesn't even exist anymore. When he used to put his feet on the table in front of the boss and they hated him for it. Took himself to Arista, snagged 2 artists, developed many more artists that are all in the number 1, number 2, top 10 categories. The man who has come out with over 3 or 4 songs, right? In the Rolling Stones 500 greatest songs and albums of all time by himself. This guy is the person that I look up to. This is the type of person that I look up to, the grit. Yeah, he may not have come from Marcy Projects, but he was just an intern at a lowly place. Took everything that he had and made it into what it is now, $10 million more than, respectfully, the other Sean. And that's my wrap up. If you can't see it, I don't know what else to say.
Again, we're talking about, because once you start to talk about tens of millions for dudes who have hundreds of millions, we're not talking much.
It's not much.
And anybody knows that. It's like talking thousands of dollars with people who have millions. Now, so to say that this guy has 10 million, as I just mentioned, the 200 million deal that he just inked is not included in the 810 million that you can look up on any website or any site for the net worths.
Drink Transportation,
however,
isn't in there yet either.
Again, Jay-Z, and I'm gonna go off the grid and I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap this up with this closing statement about Jay, because I read a story this week and it was very compelling. And if we didn't do this show, I would still want to mention this because it's crazy to me. But somehow Jay-Z just finds himself in the middle of it. And that is, Jay-Z has a nephew that plays high school basketball. And the nephew last week dunked over the number one prospect in the country.
Come on, man. Where we going with this, man?
Jay-Z's nephew has a highlight. He was in the AAU tournament in LA and dunked over the number one high school basketball prospect in the country. What makes the story even more compelling is the fact that, yes, this is Jay-Z's nephew. The brother of Jay-Z, the kid's father, Jay-Z mentioned in a verse in My Lifetime Volume 1. And he shot his brother. And this is the song where he says, "Yet you asked to see me in the hospital the next day, you must have loved me," which is the name of the song. These are his rhymes in 96. And I know you say, well, what did that have to do with the whole mogul argument or whatever the case? This is Jay-Z. This is who I'm talking about. This is somebody that I admire to the utmost. And my whole point, and my man said, going to college and being self-made are two different things, which he's correct about. Because you can go to college just as well, and we encourage that you go to college.
And be self-made.
However, I applaud the fact that you took your own route, and maybe not the traditional or conventional route of going to college, and we're still having the conversation about you being the best businessman in the genre of hip-hop. And like I said, for that, he said, well, Diddy's worth 10 more million than him. Jay-Z Jay-Z wears tens of million worth of jewelry. That's, neither here nor there. So, for me, it's Jay-Z. For all the reasons I just mentioned, for how far that he's come with it and the path that he chose to take with it. And like I said, still in position to financially be maybe the most successful and achieved CEO to ever do it. Certainly, as we have this debate and discussion right there at 1 or 2, however you see it. You leave comments and you let us know who you think is 1 and who you think is, 2.
Puffy, Jay-Z, which one? Y'all leave the comments. You heard what I said. I mean, this guy is everything that I said. All the people who he's put up there as far as musically and all the business movies made. Jay-Z started from nothing to everything that he is now. You guys decide who's right, who's wrong. I can't wait to hear your comments. But before we get to the shout outs, since we're talking lyrics, all I drink is my shit. Ciroc by the caseload. I'm richer than these white folks. Oh man. Anyway, listen, enough joking. It's up to you guys. Before we get to these comments, tomorrow's question. I'm putting it out there right now. You're gonna want to watch Bill Maher saying the N-word live on television. What does this mean? Did it go too far? Does he get the pass? Or get the F out of here? Tell you what, tomorrow you better tune in for that. It's going to be a debate, and I'm gonna have a different point of view than everybody else, I promise you.
Tune in.
Shout outs. Kevin Alfred, I see you, brother. Appreciate you. Anthony Brantley, I see you. Thank you. Rico Migo, you left like 3 comments on the Dolph situation. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Mr. Fleetwood, I see you out there. Chris Williams, thank you. And Freddie Jackson, thank you. All of y'all get the super shout outs because you left great comments. We can't read them all. This one's going extra long. Keep leaving those comments. We're going to end up reading some tomorrow. Excuse me. Reading some tomorrow after the Bill Maher situation. And we're just so happy to be back. We hope you guys got to see the battles that we put up out there. We had to do it incognito because, YouTube and URL and the rest of them don't like it when we get the sneak peeks, but we gave it to y'all. So hopefully you got to see them, and it's been a while. Everything is back. We're back on.
We appreciate the comments. And yes, keep pressing subscribe. It has been a couple days. We back in effect. You're gonna like the next few shows we got.
They're gonna be crazy. Peace.
We out of here.